Kia ora and welcome to Tough Tutorials. Today we're going to be making a boutonniere. So what you're going to need is flowers, of course. You're going to need a bit of floral tape. You're going to need an adhesive. Today I have some floral adhesive. You can use hot glue, you can use super glue. You just need a little bit of glue. You're going to have your pin, which is ultimately going to pin your boutonniere to your jacket. And you're going to need some ribbon. Firstly, you want to prep your flowers, get them all set so you don't have to be trying to prep them while you're in the process of making the piece. So I'm going to select a particular flower head, and it's going to be this one, cutting it as long as I can from the flower. This guy can go back into some water. Now I'm going to take my eucalyptus stem and say, yeah, I want about this much. Clean it up so that I don't have to do that afterward. Look like so. My agones, this is a bit long. In fact, I'll just do this so that I have two pieces. So we'll take some wax flower. Now you want to get this off, but you also want to keep the stems about as long as you can. So I would just clean these stems up, but don't go cutting it too short because you may in fact need the length, and you can always cut it off later. I have some tryptamine, just gonna clean that up, just like so. Give myself that. Now we're just gonna kind of make the composition in our hand, and then we'll get our floral tape. In fact, let's get our floral tape ready now. About so much is gonna be great. Take that off, set it down ready at the ready. So I'm gonna start with my eucalyptus. It's kind of gonna be on the back of the piece. Then kind of lay in a little bit of agones, maybe on either side. This is a nice big stem of tryptamine, so why don't I put a little bit of that in there? Maybe I'll put another piece in there, like so. I'm gonna then take my blushing bride. It's kind of my hero flower for this. And finally, I think just one bit of wax flower will do just fine. Cleaned right up to the top so that I can have my floral tape go right up to it. This is what your boutonniere is going to look like. So now taking it here, I'm kind of exposing all the stems. Take my floral tape. Instead of placing it here, keeping the stems about as tight as I can, and then pinching them and rolling it in my hand. All you have to know is that you're really trying to keep this about as tight as you can keep it, right? So whatever technique gets that done is gonna be fine by me. And now you're just gonna roll it down the stem, not losing that composition, not losing that tightness around the stem. Is going to be great. So we get to about here. You can just rip this tape right off. So now you've got it all taped up. You've got a nice little bit of length. Again, keeping composition in mind. It's about 1 part stem to 2 parts flower arrangement. I'm going to take my scissors, give that a little cut. You have your boutonniere, right? So at this point, it's about just making it the best it can be. So instead of leaving this floral tape exposed, we're gonna take some pink ribbon here. I'm gonna cut about, I don't know, let's call it 12 inches or so. Now, I'm gonna lay this ribbon on the back side like so, right? So it goes from the bottom up, and then put a fold in it, right? And now what that's gonna do is hold the ribbon down as I wrap around and around diagonally towards the bottom. Again, that tension is imperative. If you don't have the tension, you're gonna find yourself with a pretty, I don't know, loose looking tie, which is not gonna look good. So you come all the way to the bottom, Now this is where your glue comes in handy. I'm gonna take the top off. Should have done this before. Floral glue is great for this, but it's honestly not the best. I would use super glue or even hot glue. I'm gonna use the tip of this, just get a bit of glue on here. Whoops, that's a lot. And then just do a little dollop. Essentially the idea is it just has to be fast acting glue. So you want to hold that glue right there, give it a moment to set. Now it's sort of done so. You're going to take your sharp scissors, you can get a nice cut. In a way that just covers up that floral tape and makes it all nice. So at the end you sort of have yourself this little mini bouquet that can be pinned nicely onto your lapel or your jacket. Again, like any kind of arranging, editing is also helpful. So I like the idea of just snipping this guy off right here. So now you're going to take your pin right here, and this is a little bonus tip how to pin on your boutonniere. You go in to the jacket, you come out of the jacket, you take your boutonniere, go right through it. Hope you don't hit your finger. Thankfully I didn't this time. Just enough so that you can then pinch onto your jacket, go in, and go out again. And there you have it. Well, thanks again for tuning in to Tough Tutorials. This was how to make a boutonniere. You can subscribe if you want to see some of the other stuff that we make. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.